Hi everybody, I'm Bree the Plant Lady, and today I am tackling my last big border. I am so anxious to get this whole area tidied up and replanted for the summer. This border has a lot going on. There's a lot of different things that I have to address today. First, I have to collect seed. Then I have to mow down all of the spring herbaceous stuff so that all that biomass goes back into the soil. Then I need to address some necessary transplanting, some of the permanent perennials and shrubs, and do some tree pruning before I get busy planting, both with things that I have purchased from nurseries and propagated myself and from direct sowing. So I'm gonna tackle this right now, and I'm gonna take you along for the ride to show you step by step how I transform this bed from utter spring chaos to a beautiful, sensible summer foodscape. And let's just take an up close view of the before. A lot going on here, especially on this side. All those carrots. Can't even tell that there's a pond in that mess. More larkspur seeds to harvest. You know, I really can't wait to get in here and get this cleaned up. And love it, the rose is blooming, the hydrangeas look great. This Prunus mume is gonna have some big branches cut off. Obviously this dogwood needs to be pruned because you can't even walk under here right now. Oh my, there's just so much. Still want to make that pathway to connect this bed out to the boat shelter, and you know, just lots of pruning in addition to just cleaning up for the season. And then of course the ultimate fix after I get this planted is to mulch it. So stay tuned for my progress. As you can see, I've collected a lot of seed. I had larkspur, nigella, carrots, and a combination of wheat and barley, both that are dark seeded. And I just put those together because I think next year it'll be kind of fun to grow those, you know, mixed in with, you know, other grains, things like oats. I do have some oats still to harvest, but as I've been kind of combing through here, I realized I have a lot of perennials in this bed, and I'm not really going to be able to mow the entire space. So that means I'm going to do some hand pulling and hauling some of the spring stalks into one of my compost piles out in the woods. And though I prefer to use all this biomass in place, it's just too tricky to try and mow around so many perennial things. So in some of the open areas I'll be able to mow, but then in other areas, and especially right along the glass bottle pathways, all of that will have to get done by hand. So now we're turning our attention to the Prunus mume, which of course is one of my favorite trees in the winter time when it's flowering, but this has gotten really big and it's creating a ton of shade. So my awesome husband here, David, is gonna take some of the critical branches out so that we'll open this bed up and give me a better opportunity to grow more full sun loving plants this summer. have the bed cleaned up, and I opted not to mow, and that was a huge mistake. The mow in place method is so much more efficient than clearing by hand. And I actually, it took me all day, and it kicked my butt. Literally, I pulled a muscle in my left hip, and so I've been hobbling around all afternoon. I did manage to harvest an entire basket of garlic and some potatoes. These were actually just surface potatoes. I didn't get the fork out yet because the foliage is still healthy. So I'm gonna let those grow a little longer. But my next step is to rake this out and basically grate it all, and then it'll be time for me to sow the seeds, and then I will mulch, and the last step will be planting all the vegetative things to have this bed completely finished for the summer growing season. So I frequently talk about nematodes, and nematodes impact tons of plants. And here you have an example of nematodes actively infesting carrots. This is often what the carrots that I grow in the ground end up looking like. So this is why I so often grow carrots just for their floral display, because that's not really edible. That is what root knot nematodes do, and that they are a very common problem in the southeast, especially areas that used to be tobacco fields, like the property that we garden on here. Well, as you can see, I have more seeds than I have space to accommodate, because this bed actually isn't anywhere near as big as it used to be, because so many of these trees and shrubs have grown, and now it's like a shrub border. That whole side is no longer open. There was a time when all of this was open square footage when I built this bed the fall of 2016. But I'm a tree and shrub collector, and I'm kind of in a dilemma with this bed, in that it'd probably be better for me to just make this a perennial border, permanent plantings with these trees and shrubs, and stop trying to manage it as a combo. But I think for this summer, just determined to use some of these seeds. I do have some really awesome zinnias, some really great varieties of okra. I have like 12 varieties of okra, so I'm gonna do the ones from the Utopian Seed Project. Puerto Rico Evergreen Improved, and Rains. And I think I'm gonna sneak some Cosmos in, just because, you know, I'd intended these to go out front and I forgot about them. But that's okay. The seeds can stay in the refrigerator, and maybe I'll find a good community project to get involved in and use up some of these seeds, including my favorite thing in the whole world, sorghum. This bed is thoroughly planted with seed. I did an edge of peanuts, and then Goldilocks yellow squash, 4 different varieties of okra, Cosmos and zinnias and buckwheat, white and black sesame, sunflowers, 3 types of sorghum. Am I missing anything? I think that sums it up. Now the next step is to get this bed mulched, and then I have to really evaluate if I realistically have room for the plants that I was planning to install in this border as well. Because to be honest, I just covered every square inch with seed. So the answer to that really is that no, I do not have room for more plants to go into this bed. Will I have self-restraint or not is really the question. Well, as you can see, I made a ton of mulching progress last night into the darkness with fireworks going off all around me, though I couldn't see any of them. All I could do was hear them. I just have some touch-up mulching to finish this morning and then make the final decision about what plants I will add in, even though it's completely unnecessary. I can't help myself and I like to overplant. So why would I stop now, right? All right, this is all the stuff from the greenhouse that still needs to get planted. And compared to past years, this is hardly anything. So I'm not feeling bad at all. Obviously, it's not all gonna fit in the bed I just finished. I'm gonna have to walk around and find little openings for things. I did plan on using a good portion of that tray of annuals in that bed. And I'd like to put some peppers in, though I really didn't leave room. This is really plant Tetris, especially when the bed is empty, because the seeds haven't germinated. Words really can't express how relieved I am to have this bed done for the summer season. I now feel like I can relax and actually enjoy the garden. I don't have these big disorganized spaces looming over me. Now, if you found this video to be helpful, please give me a like. Be sure to hit that bell notification so you'll know when I post another video. And I look forward to sharing updates from this bed and all of the other beds that I have gotten replanted in the last week with you through the growing season. Thanks so much for watching, everybody.